Good morning, America. The Dow hits a new high, but the president's poll numbers hit a new low as he backs a sweeping new proposal to slash legal immigration in half, giving preference to English speakers and skilled workers.
The notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong.
Fireworks in the briefing room.
Those massive wildfires turning deadly. A firefighter killed battling the blaze. Oregon declaring a state of emergency, and flames threatening UC Berkeley's campus, forcing them to cut power. Now, a new warning as record temperatures climb even higher this morning.
Summer camp scare. 40 children rushed to the hospital after a chemical leak in a swimming pool. Kids overcome by the fumes, the building forced to evacuate, an investigation now underway.
And overnight, the terrifying moment a bungee ride malfunctions at a county fair, leaving a man dangling upside down.
Why isn't that ladder moving?
Two other people trapped high above, filming the whole thing. Firefighters coming to the rescue, finally pulling them to safety.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
We do say good morning, America, and that had to be a scary moment at that county fair in California, and thankfully everyone, including that man, is okay.
Can you imagine? He dangled upside down for about 20 minutes. We're going to have a lot more on that coming up. But we are going to begin with the latest news from Washington, where the White House is facing backlash over that plan to cut the number of legal U.S. immigrants in half. There was heated debate in the briefing room yesterday over the Statue of Liberty and its meaning. And this comes as a new poll shows the president's approval rating at an all-time low. Just 33% of Americans think the president's doing a good job right now. 61% disapprove.
And President Trump will be meeting with his supporters tonight at a campaign-style rally in West Virginia. That rally, of course, coming as questions grow over the new immigration bill. And our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, has the latest from Washington. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hi, Robin. Good morning to you. President Trump says the legal immigration system in this country has not been fair to American workers and citizens. But both Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill say the impacts on the economy from this proposal would be so negative, it's a non-starter. Fireworks in the White House briefing room.
The notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong.
President Trump's senior policy advisor, Stephen Miller, pushing a sweeping new immigration proposal, one that would slash legal immigration into the U.S. by half and change a system that allows most legal immigrants to enter the country based on family relations, instead giving admission preference to English-speaking and skilled workers. Miller sparring with reporters over just how far the proposal would go.
The Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. It doesn't say anything about speaking English or being able to be a computer programmer.
I don't want to get off into a whole thing about history here, but the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of liberty enlightening the world. It's a symbol of American liberty lighting the world. The poem that you're referring to that was added later is not actually part of the original Statue of Liberty.
White House says the president is making good on a campaign promise.
The green card reforms and the RAISE Act will give American workers a pay raise by reducing unskilled immigration.
Aides brushing off questions about contradictions in the president's own use of immigrant labor at his Florida clubs, including Mar-a-Lago. Last year, the president defending his organization's request for more unskilled workers.
During the season, it's very, very hard to get employees. In fact, it's almost impossible. And what we do is we sometimes have to bring people in.
The White House also facing tough questions about whether the president told the truth when he claimed to receive phone calls from people who never actually called him. After that political speech to the Boy Scouts last week,
Fake media, fake news.
the president told the Wall Street Journal the head of the Boy Scouts personally called him to say it was the greatest speech that was ever made to them, and they were very thankful. But actually, the speech angered so many, the Boy Scouts were forced to issue an apology. And yesterday they said there was no phone call. The president also said Mexico's president called to praise his work on the border.
They said their southern border, very few people are coming because they know they're not going to get through our border, which is the ultimate compliment.
Mexico also says there was no call. So we asked the White House.
Why did the president say that he received a phone call from the leader of the Boy Scouts and the president of Mexico when he did not? Did he lie?
No, on Mexico, he was referencing the conversation that they had at the G20 summit in terms of the Boy Scouts, multiple members of the Boy Scout leadership following his speech there that day, congratulated him, praised him.
But the president specifically said that he received a phone call from the president of Mexico and from the leader of the Boy Scouts.
They were direct conversations, not actual phone calls.
And the president is making headlines for another reported comment. He reportedly told members of his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey, that the White House is, quote, a real dump. Well, he is now pushing back on that with a tweet saying, quote, I love the White House, one of the most beautiful buildings, homes I have ever seen, but fake news said I called it a dump. Totally untrue. So, Robin, he's saying he never made those comments.
And he'll be heading away from the White House. He is going to have his first extended vacation since taking office. Going to be away for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, Robin, and it starts tomorrow. He'll be gone, as you said, for a couple of weeks, heading to Bedminster. But look, there's nothing unusual about this. Most presidents take an extended trip around this time. While he is gone, there will be some construction, major construction happening here at the White House, Robin.
All right. Thank you, Cecile.
Let's get more now from our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, this morning. And John, let's start out with that poll. We just showed it. 33% approval now for the president, all-time low. And you see this happening as the president is now focusing solely really on his core supporters, his hardcore Trump supporters, like with that immigration announcement yesterday.
Yeah, he still is popular among Republicans, and this is clearly aimed at that base because, George, it is not aimed at actually passing something. That bill was first introduced by those two Republican senators back in February. It still doesn't have any other co-sponsors. I think that if that were brought up for a vote right now in the Senate, it would be lucky to get more than 30 votes. Certainly no chance of actually passing.
John, the poll we showed also showed that about 58% of Americans think the president tried to derail or obstruct the Russia investigation. And these questions over Russia, one of the reasons the president really had no choice yesterday but to sign that bill that imposed sanctions on Russia.
Yeah, he clearly didn't like it. That signing statement that he issued with it said it had a number of provisions that were clearly unconstitutional. George, another reason he didn't have a choice is the numbers. Look at the numbers. That Russia sanctions bill passed 97-2 in the Senate, and it passed 419-3 in the House. If he had vetoed it, if he decided not to sign it, clearly Congress could have overridden that veto.
And they would have done that, no question about it. We are seeing some signs this week that General John Kelly, the new White House Chief of Staff, imposing his control over the White House. We read about that report that he's called the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, assuring him that his job is safe.
Yes, we know he did that. I'm also told that there's more order in the West Wing in terms of meetings, the flow of information in and out of the Oval Office. And, George, there have been some changes on the National Security Council. We've had now 3 departures in recent days of people that had been brought into the National Security Council by Michael Flynn way back in the beginning of this administration. Clearly some changes there reflected by Kelly coming in.
John Karl, thanks very much. Robin?
All right, George, now to that dangerous heat wave that's hitting the Northwest, bringing triple-digit temperatures, fueling massive wildfires. Ginger, you know, is tracking the latest developments for us. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Robin. We're now at almost 5.5 million acres burned year to date, and the state of Oregon, the governor there declaring a state of emergency.
Dozens of large wildfires raging throughout the West. A firefighter killed battling a blaze in Montana. 7,000 acres burning in the Diamond Creek fire in northern Washington state. Voluntary evacuations at the University of California, Berkeley after a brush fire came close to the football stadium. Helicopters dropped water from a nearby reservoir. And look at the skyline of Portland, Oregon, a smoky haze blanketing most of the state. Check out the before and after of Seattle. Those are not clouds on the satellite, by the way. That is smoke. All this as the Northwest braces for another day of record-breaking heat, a mad rush for fans and AC units in a region that's not used to this. Store shelves empty. Hospitals ready for a rare increase of heat-related illnesses.
We're ready. We have systems in place to call in additional healthcare workers.
And it's not just the afternoon highs, the overnight lows in the upper 60s and low 70s, way out of the ordinary for this region. You still see the red flag warnings in place that go all the way through Northern California, excessive heat warnings, heat advisories that go south of Monterey there, and air quality, it is bad and getting worse in a lot of these places, from British Columbia fires into Washington state, some of it making it all the way to Minnesota. That historic heat again could see all-time record possible in Salem, Oregon today at 109, George.
Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to that terrifying chemical leak at a YMCA pool. It sent dozens of children to the hospital struggling to breathe. ABC's Steve Osunsami is on the scene in Durham, North Carolina. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, George. This was a frightening moment for parents who had children here. They were watching on TVs in some cases as their kids were being hauled out onto the sidewalk and into the street, being treated for chemical exposure. North Carolina authorities this morning are trying to explain to parents how a summer camp trip to the pool turned into a hazmat scene where dozens of children had trouble breathing.
We literally smell the chlorine in the air.
It happened at the YMCA in downtown Durham, North Carolina. The building had to be evacuated after reports of a chemical leak at its indoor pool.
Some children began complaining about nausea and breathing issues. Our camp staff immediately contacted EMS and began notifying parents.
First responders soon learned that the children were overcome by dangerous chemicals leaking from pool equipment that had poured onto the floor.
This real strong smell started coming off the water, so after about 5 minutes I got out and all these kids got in.
Authorities say the leaked material was sodium hypochlorite, a chlorine-based chemical used as a disinfectant in swimming pools.
At this point in time, that's what it appears to be, some type of mechanical issue.
40 children between the ages of 6 and 12 and 2 adults were rushed to local hospitals, struggling to breathe, vomiting, and rubbing their eyes.
It all depends on the level of exposure, how long you were exposed to it, how severe that might be.
The CDC says that pool chemical injuries send 5,000 Americans to emergency rooms each year, and more than half of those hurt are children. 6 of the children who appeared to be in the most serious condition at the pool were treated at local hospitals and sent home overnight with their families. The YMCA says they're not sure when they'll reopen here, and they also point out that this time they believe the chemicals were spread through the air and not through pool water, as you might expect. Robin?
All right, Steve, glad the children are doing better this morning. And this morning we also have new details about that tragic explosion at a Minneapolis high school. A gas leak collapsing part of the building, killing at least 2 people, trapping others inside. ABC's Alex Perez has the latest.
Overnight, authorities working to secure the scene of that explosion that gutted part of this school building.
We have windows that were blown out, flames and fire, and building collapsed as well.
10:20 Wednesday morning, administrators and some students were inside the building here at Minnehaha Academy in Minneapolis. Basketball and cross-country practice had just wrapped up when the massive blast went off, reducing the middle portion of the building to rubble.
There was a huge explosion. Smoke went up, knocked most of us kind of back.
The explosion, authorities say, ignited when a crew accidentally pierced the gas line.
Another staff said, hey, we're smelling gas, we need everybody out. And it was literally seconds after that there was a big explosion.
First responders rushing in, searching for survivors. Outside, frantic parents desperate for any information on their kids. 9 adults rushed to the hospital.
Very lucky. It would have made this dramatically worse if we would have had school in session.
This man walked out alive, his head bandaged as he reunited with his wife.
This is a day of extraordinary heartbreak in Minneapolis.
Overnight, officials recovering the body of school janitor John Carlson. Also killed in the explosion, school receptionist Ruth Berg. Overnight, a vigil remembering the woman who had worked at the school for 17 years.
And investigators say in some ways they are very lucky. Had this happened just a few weeks from now, the school would have been packed with students getting ready for the start of the school year. George?
Yeah, it is still so sad, though. Okay, Alex, thanks very much. We're going to move on now to that giant cyber attack on HBO. The FBI has been called in after news signs that the hack, which stole a script from Game of Thrones, is far worse than it first appeared. ABC's TJ Holmes here with the story. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning, George. We hear about a massive hack at HBO not long after the season premiere of their crown jewel, Game of Thrones. And the concern is immediately that, is the season going to be leaked? Is it going to ruin it for fans? Well, now it turns out that a few leaked episodes or scripts from Game of Thrones might just be the beginning of HBO's problems. The FBI is now reportedly investigating the massive cyber attack on HBO, believed to be the biggest industry hacking ever.
It's hard for me to fathom, it really is.
Sunday night, hackers stole 1.5 terabytes of data. That's 7 times bigger than the 2014 attack on Sony Pictures and equivalent to about 500 hours worth of movies.
All they know how to do is steal things they can't build or grow themselves.
The hacker said HBO is falling, bragging they had pulled off the greatest leak in the cyberspace era just hours after Game of Thrones aired its third episode to a reported 30 million viewers worldwide. The hackers also claimed they accessed the channel's internal network and email system, saying they posted stolen information online, but adding to the mystery, they did not issue a ransom demand. Overnight, HBO's president told employees, "We do not believe that our email system as a whole has been compromised, but the forensic review is ongoing."
You'd better get to work, Jon Snow.
In the past 72 hours, unaired episodes of the network shows Ballers and Room 104, and also written material claiming to be from the final season of Game of Thrones, surfaced online.
The question is, can any company, HBO or not, ever be fully hacker-proof? They're certainly going to try.
Yeah, let me try to give some perspective to how much information it is. 1.5 terabytes. That kind of goes over our heads. We're talking about potentially in that much data, 100 million pages of documents could fit into that data. So he said it wasn't compromised as a whole, the email system, but they don't know how many individual emails. It could be embarrassing.
So this is way bigger than the Sony hack, and that one led to weeks of stories.
And in weeks of stories, the head of the studio being fired, losing a job over it, this could be massive and embarrassing for HBO.
Wow.
Could be.
TJ, thanks very much.
You got it, guys.
Amy's got the morning's other top stories, starting with a big medical breakthrough.
That's right. Researchers say they may be one step closer toward preventing inherited diseases. Scientists in Oregon say they have safely repaired a disease-causing gene in human embryos, which is a medical first. That gene mutation causes a rare heart disease, but they stress for now their work is lab research only. We're going to have a lot more on this coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. In the meantime, on Wall Street, the Dow is beginning the day at a record high after surging past the 22,000 mark. Corporate profits, including a strong report from Apple, fueled those gains. The Dow is up 23% since the presidential election, but overnight an indication the rally could be fading. Global stocks were mostly lower. Well, Ford engineers are in Massachusetts today inspecting police SUVs that have tested positive for carbon monoxide after another crash. In this case, an officer passed out behind the wheel of his Ford Explorer, hitting another vehicle. The officer was hospitalized, and Ford says police equipment installed in the vehicles could be the problem. Hundreds of police SUVs have been pulled off the roads across the country. And a dramatic crash caught on camera in Tyler, Texas. Take a look at this small plane as it loses control and, wow, crashes onto a highway just yards away from a police car. A student pilot and a flight instructor were injured. And finally, I gotta ask, when's the last time you replaced that sponge in your kitchen? Well, a new study tested kitchen sponges. And because it's the breakfast hour, we're not going to go into any of the details about what the testers found. But just so you know, those sponges are a lot dirtier than you think. Rinsing them doesn't kill all the bacteria. Even putting it in the microwave to sterilize it doesn't work. The bottom line, scientists recommend you should replace your sponge every week. And so as soon as I am off the air, I am going to the store and buying a steady supply, because I did not know that.
Every week?
Every week.
All right. Wow. You had to ask, huh?
Yep.
All right. Let's get to Ginger now. Flash flooding in the Northeast, Ginger.
And by the way, Ben won't let us use sponges for that very reason. We have to use our reusable paper towels that we wash all the time. Real quickly, flash flooding, Massachusetts to Maryland. There was damaging wind. And look at Edison, New Jersey, up to 4 inches. Along that warm front in Wisconsin today, you could see tornadoes. Damaging wind possible in Chicago. Let's get to the stormy cities now, brought to you by Sprint.
Hi, I'm Paul. People ask why I switched to Sprint. Well, their network reliability is within 1% of the big guys, and they have the best price for unlimited among national carriers. And wait, are you watching this on the awesome iPhone 7? You gotta get iPhone 7 from Sprint, and they'll give you a second one on them. What are you doing? Go switch to Sprint.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know, but I'd better go to Sprint.
Wait.
2 iPhone 7s! Love you!
Get Sprint Unlimited. And now, get iPhone 7 and get a second iPhone 7 on us.
Another hot and humid afternoon coming up. Our daytime highs today in the low 90s. Partly sunny skies and some afternoon thunderstorms firing up, mainly after about 2 o'clock today. Notice those temperatures staying in the 80s well past 9 o'clock tonight. Any of those thunderstorms bringing in heavy rain and also frequent lightning. For your Friday, temperatures going to be still in the low 90s under partly sunny skies and the chance for some additional afternoon storms.
Coming up, that terrifying close call at a county fair. A man dangled by his feet on a bungee ride for at least 20 minutes. He is okay, but we're going to tell you what went wrong.
I have asthma, one of many pieces in my life.
So when my asthma symptoms kept coming back on my long-term control medicine, I talked to my doctor and found a missing piece in my asthma treatment with Brio.